Joe Biden. Whoa, that's a lot of volume. Hang on, let's go fix that. While we do that, let's let's go fix that real quick. Sorry about that, folks. We will be we'll be having a little bit of a on-air production here, but we can't blast your eardrums out like that. All right, let's see if that's just a little bit better here. Let's try that again. Joe Biden feels that the best way for him to get his message out is to talk to a bunch of empty cars. And no, I'm not kidding. They're still doing that shit. So we'll talk a bit about that. In other Biden related news, the ratings came in for Joe Biden's speech, and I mean, even CNN has had to come out and say that no, this is kind of shitty and not going to happen here. The Afghanistan pull down begins, and Afghanistan vows war against the United States as the Afghanistan pull down begins, which who could have seen that one coming? And Governor Brown is extending the state of emergency for the COVID lockdown. It's going to be all this and more, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people jumping in to wish me a very, very special day as well, and we'll talk a bit about why at the end of the show. But hey, do you trust the plan yet? I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Contemporary. My name is Jay Edgar, and even on this special day that people keep telling me I'm supposed to go and have fun, we still have got a bar full of tabs, full of stupid stuff that's happening in the government, both local, national, and even abroad here. So we're going to come through all of that and get through it, and yeah, it's that special day. It's my birthday. So if you guys want to throw a little bit of love, this is also the day where I read the live chat at the end of the show. And thank you guys specially for coming in and hanging out with me. Plus, I've got the names of everybody who chatted in the live chat over the weekend, or over the week rather, too. So you'll all get a special thank you at the end of the show. And for today's show, if your comment is sufficiently stupid or bigoted, it'll get read live on the air because it will raise the intellectual level of this program here. So let's get right into it. But before we get started, head on over, check out my friends who all transmit on the Freedom Scoop Media Group. Pardon our dust, we are still under construction, but that won't stop you from heading over and checking out great shows such as The Breakdown with Birkenhoff, The Daily Ignoramus, The R-Rated Conservative, The Freckles and Brit Show, and The Generational Gap. Make sure you're over there checking out The Generational Gap or The R-Rated Conservative or The Freckles and Brit Show. All three tonight. Go and check any of them out. They're great programs. They're great friends. I love having them in my life. So I hope that you have some of them in your life too. Once we get the new website up, we will have great new options for you to go over and directly financially support our great programs because, hey, if you like what we do, a couple bucks here and there always will help us continue to do that again. So you can head on over there and help us support great creators. Let's look at finance. The Dow starting at 239.98 above where it started yesterday. That is a very slight increase after it went up and dropped back down below. Back above, down below, and end of the day back up once again. Still looking on that slow and steady though, so we'll see where this goes and what happens with that and what this does for the economy as well. On your Bitcoin is about flat, 54,213 US dollars even. That is slightly up from the 54,000 just about even that we had yesterday. So, slightly going up here. All right, your gas prices around Madison. The Costco has dropped to $2.54. Looks like we're starting to see a couple other ones hit $2.54 around the Madison area. But mostly we're staying around the $2.57 to $2.59 mark. Your local gas prices may vary, but it kind of gives you an average as to where they're probably going to go in the future here. All right, let's see what IBD has to say on the morning. From Investors Business Daily, Dow Jones Futures, Apple, Amazon, suppliers, NEO lead key earners. Who the hell wrote that headline? And why that? Why doesn't it make any sense? Anyway, after whipsaw market rally from Ed Carson. Dow futures fell modestly early Friday morning, along with S&P 500 futures and NASDAQ futures, as Amazon stock, Twitter, Tesla, rival NIO, and Apple supplier Skyworks Solutions led another busy after-hours earnings session. The stock market rally showed gains Thursday on the major indices, but the whipsaw action and breakout reversals were disappointing. It really isn't a whipsaw by any stretch of the imagination, but keep telling yourselves that. Wall Street opened strong with the S&P 500 and NASDAQ Composite both hitting all-time highs, but almost immediately stocks gave up gains with the NASDAQ turning solidly lower before rebounding for a slim gain. Facebook capped higher on earnings, closing strong. Century Communities and energy stocks also had big gains on results. Yeah, some of your places down in the south are probably going to start to see the AC come on for the first time or for maybe the second time this year, so we'll start to see some of those earnings come back. Plus, it's Utilities Day coming up here pretty quick. So, a couple things are going to start moving in that sector. Amazon.com, NIO, KLA Corp, Twitter, Fortinet, Atlassian, and Five9 reported earnings. So did Omnicell, Dexcom, and Apple supplier Skyworks and Cirrus Logic. Meanwhile, Digital Turbine reported preliminary fiscal quarter 4 revenue above consensus. APPS stock rose 5% overnight, but that would be below its 50-day line. Amazon stock rose late on blowout earnings, moving to a record high and flashing buy signals. Software makers Five9 and Atlassian are also triggering buy signs, while FTNT stock also rallied. NIO stock fell modestly. Twitter, Skyworks, and Cirrus Logic sold off, while Dexcom and KLA also retreated. OMCL stock was not yet active. Early Friday, Dow Jones Component, Chevron, reported larger than expected earnings declines, while revenue topped Views. CVX stock fell early Friday. It's been building the right side of a base as rising oil prices lift crude producers. FTNT stock is on the IBD long-term leaders. Team stock is on the long-term leaders watch list. Tesla is on the IBD 50. In other news, the European Union accused Apple of abusing its market dominance via its App Store versus streaming music rivals such as Spotify. The EU said Apple charges high fees via its App Store and prevents rivals from providing info on alternative subscription options. Apple stock fell 1% Friday morning. Apple is abusing competitors? You don't say! I'm shocked! Well, I'm not really that shocked. On the futures, Dow futures fell 0.4% versus fair value. That's not insignificant. On these markets where we're going 0.1% up or down throughout the days, that's not insignificant at all. S&P 500 futures declined 0.5%. NASDAQ 100 futures retreated 0.7%. The official China manufacturing index fell more than expected, signaling slower factory growth, but the private Caixin Market Manufacturing Index for China rose, signaling faster growth. China. The EU has fallen into a double-dip recession, with economic activity falling in quarter 4 2020 and quarter 1 2021, as sluggish vaccination rates force shutdowns. Remember, overnight action in Dow futures and elsewhere doesn't necessarily translate into actual trading in the next regular stock market session. I would love it. I don't care who the president is. I would love it if the fear-mongering for the commie coup turned around, and I know who the president is, we're probably still going to sit back and we're still going to get our economy driven into fucking oblivion, but I would love it if the fear-mongering around the world drove every economy except for ours and China's into absolute oblivion, and then the U.S. rose as the manufacturing leader, much in the same way they did after we bombed the absolute ever-loving fuck out of everybody in the world, and they continued to bomb the fuck out of everybody, out of each other, in the late 40s. Early 40s, I'm sorry. Not the late 40s. In the early 40s. I would love to see that, I'm not going to lie. All right, let's see what this new source I have here, Seeking Alpha. Let's see what they have to say here. Dow Jones, NASDAQ slip before consumer data. Earnings week wraps up. I don't get an author on this. This kind of looks like a little bit more than a blog, but let's have a look. U.S. stock futures ticked lower overnight, dipping 0.4% as investors continue to digest the latest downpour of earnings and economic data. While Amazon was the last of Wall Street's mega-cap tech companies to publish results on Thursday, the party is not over yet. U.S. oil majors take the stage this morning as investors see if ExxonMobil and Chevron recovered from last year's pandemic-driven losses. Okay, let's call them losses. Yesterday, the S&P 500 closed at another record high, following robust U.S. growth data, the first snapshot of first quarter GDP details, an expansion of 6.4%, beating estimates of a 6.1% annualized rate, as households and government shelled out big bucks on retail items, vaccines, and aid to businesses. That left the world's largest economy within 1% of its peak, reached in late 2019 just before the coronavirus pandemic came to the U.S. The Labor Department also revealed 553,000 new weekly jobless claims were filed in its latest report, making another pandemic low. On the radar today is fresh data on the American consumer, including personal income, spending, and sentiment. The information also could provide investors, as well as the Federal Reserve, with a useful gauge of how quickly prices are rising across the U.S. Earlier this week, Fed Chair Jerome Powell reiterated that any increases in inflation are likely to be transitory and would ease after supply chain issues subside, but others see possible consequences. Analyst commentary: all arrows are pointing to another increase in inflationary pressures. Keep in mind, the Fed knows this. They're prepared for it, wrote Patrick Leary, chief market strategist at InCapital. While I won't say whether or not the inflation we are seeing right now will indeed be transitory or more sustained, I'm willing to bet that it will go higher and persist longer than the market will tolerate. Well, there you go. We've got one out here that's saying, strap yourselves in, we're heading for a crash. Of course, officially not investment advice. Always check with your investor to see what is best for you and your portfolio. All right, let's get into the big news of the day. Starting with CBS News, and we saw a preview of this yesterday, but Biden holds car rally in Georgia to mark 100 days in office. He had it at an Enterprise. He didn't actually have it at an Enterprise, but, this is one of those things. First and foremost, who in the Biden admin is sitting here thinking that a car rally is a good idea? It's a lot harder to search a car than it is a person. I'm sorry to tell you this. Who's having a car rally with the President of the United States? In Georgia, of all places. This is just spelling for disaster. Kamala Harris is sitting over here with drool dripping out of the corner of her mouth, waiting to get into that big fucking seat. This is no author given, by the way. President Biden spoke at a drive-in rally in Georgia on Thursday evening to mark his 100th day in office. The rally comes the day after the president outlined his ambitious legislative agenda in his first address before a joint session of Congress. The president used his speech on Thursday to tout some of his successes. What? I've been watching this administration since it began, and most of you have been watching it with me. What successes? You destroyed the gains that were made at the border and the immigration crisis. And now we actually have another immigration crisis 2.0. You've sit and done nothing but take credit for what the previous guy did. And you think that people are actually going back to work because they want to give you some sort of support. Yeah, successes. You plagiarized your agenda right off the previous administration, just like you've done with everything else in your fucking career. And pitch what he wants to do in the future to address infrastructure and spending on families and young people. He particularly acknowledged Georgia's two Democratic senators, Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff, where nothing bad happened. Honk, honk, wink, wink. who won in a special election in January because of them. Mr. Biden's COVID-19 relief package, the American Rescue Plan, passed the Senate, and he has a chance at passing another element of his agenda by simple budget reconciliation and cramming it down everybody else's fucking throat. Come on, folks. It's only been 100 days, but I have to tell you, I've never been more optimistic about the fact that I'm going to live tomorrow. Right? Is that my line? About the future of America, and America's on the move again. The president said as he closed out his speech. We're choosing hope over fear, truth over lies. I watched your State of the Union address. You did nothing but lie. Light over darkness. We're working again. We're dreaming again. We're discovering again. Look, I found this place in my Delaware home that I didn't even know I had. And Jill came up and said, Joe, that's the master bathroom. Stay on topic. We're leading the world again. And you're proving democracy can deliver for the people. We just need to remember who we are. The trip to Georgia is the first step in a nationwide blitz by Mr. Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris to promote the American Jobs Plan and the American Families Plan, the administration's multi-trillion-dollar proposals to invest in infrastructure, healthcare, and education. Education is infrastructure. Remember that. Childcare is infrastructure. Banking is infrastructure. No, Random Randy, my Biden is not Clinton-y. My Clinton, that's Clinton, okay? I just want you to know that I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Hillary, that's the only woman for me. All right, let's get into this. The president hopes to pay for the investments by increasing the corporate tax rate and increasing taxes on those making over $400,000, among other things. These people believe they're bullshit. You realize that? Mr. Biden has promoted the American Jobs Plan as a once-in-a-generation investment in America itself, and the largest jobs plan since World War II, Mr. Biden. Yeah, but the problem is you don't have the dismantled world economy to do something like what happened after World War II. Mr. Biden has addressed some of the more controversial parts of the plan among Republicans, including investment in green jobs and improving home care for the elderly and disabled. The president framed his focus on climate change as a way to create new opportunities for workers. He also delivered a pitch for his American Families Plan, roughly $1.8 trillion investment in education for children and young adults, and child care assistance. The plan calls for a free preschool for 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, regardless of their family income, as well as 2 years of free community college for all Americans. Get them longer. Get them away from their parents so you can indoctrinate them more. If you really think that we need longer education, maybe you should clean up some of the bullshit that's in the public education system. He says, as a person who's gone through the public education system and knows how fucked it actually is. Mr. Biden and the First Lady also visited the 96-year-old former president, Jimmy Carter, in Plains, Georgia on Thursday afternoon before heading to Duluth for the rally. Reporters did not join the visit, but did catch a glimpse of Rosalind Carter walking the Bidens to the door to say goodbye. Yeah, 96-year-old Jimmy Carter. He will not die until the very last skinny worm in existence has been eradicated. That Jimmy Carter, he's holding out for hope. I love how they're coming out and doing these car rallies here without fear of somebody hiding a sniper rifle in the car. Because if I was president, or the Secret Service, if I was the Secret Service, I would look at car rally and I would say, fuck no. Abso-fucking-lutely not. There are too many avenues that somebody could come back and do something. But of course, hey, he's the most popular president in history, right? But furthermore, and that's the reason for the title on this particular episode of this program, The reason for that is you look at it. Now the camera's going to pan out, and all they're going to see is the cars. So, like I said, he's having his rally at an Enterprise Rent-A-Car. He's probably not having it at the Enterprise Rent-A-Car, but I'm willing to bet that the local Enterprise has just gone out and said, okay, yes, Mr. Biden, or Mr. Biden's secretary of whatever the fuck the secretary would be of that. Well, yes, we can go and park our entire fleet for 7 of our locations in the parking lot to make it look like you're speaking to a full crowd. I mean, this guy, and we'll talk about the ratings here in just a second, but this guy just doesn't. He can't fill a room. He can't fill an auditorium. The ratings were down. We'll talk about that. But, I mean, 11 million people or 26 million people, which is still low, depending on who you ask. Watch this State of Dementia speech. Because nobody cares. Nobody, and you hear it all around Twitter. I don't want to listen to this. I don't care about this. Even people in his own party, because he's the most popular president, just didn't want to go back and look at this. But they can still park a bunch of cars in there and say, hey, look at all these people we have in here. Speaking of the Bidens in Georgia, from Stephen Ignoramus. Yo, there couldn't be a better symbol for Biden's presidency, marriage and soul, than a flimsy, gray, lifeless dandelion. Retweeting with comment, NBC News' tweet that President Biden picks a dandelion for First Lady Jill Biden while walking to Marine One as they depart for Atlanta to promote the plans to rebuild the U.S. economy and mark his 100th day in office. Yeah. What a fucking fluff piece. And you know that if you switch the parties, if this was Ron DeSantis, we would see the headline. Evil president destroys local flora. More headlines at 10. Make sure you tune in because we will tell you exactly what to think. All right, let's keep going. Up to where they're going next from CBS 46. Traffic congestion expected as President Biden attends drive-in rally in Duluth. All the way up in Duluth, which, I mean, he's going way the fuck up there if he's going up there. From Rodney Harris. Expect traffic congestion in Duluth Thursday evening due to a drive-in car rally where President Joe Biden at the Infinite Energy Center. President Biden is expected to participate in the drive-in rally around 5:45 p.m. Thursday evening, which I didn't see any news on that one, but he's expected to travel from Gwinnett County Airport to the Infinite Energy Center. The president's route is not provided in advance, so exact road closures in Gwinnett County are unknown. Sugarloaf Parkway and the Infinite Energy Center will be closed after 3:15 p.m. Highway 316 in Lawrenceville and I-85 may also be impacted at times this evening. Around 4 p.m., authorities reported that Sugarloaf Parkway from Satellite Boulevard to Meadow Church Road will be closed from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So, they think that they're going to need to close off a bunch of roads for this too, so be expected and be prepared if you're back in Duluth, Minnesota, where very few people live because it gets really, really cold. Nobody wants to live there. That is way up there too. That's like just about Canada if you're all the way up in Duluth. So, yeah, just to look at some of the stuff here. All right, let's see what the Blaze has to say about this one. Drop this one. From the Blaze. Protesters repeatedly interrupt Joe Biden at his car rally, and he tells them he agrees with their extreme cause. Give me another 5 days. From Carlos Garcia. President Joe Biden tried to get past an awkward moment with loud protesters interrupting his rally by telling them he agreed with their cause, but they continued until they were kicked out. Biden was speaking at a drive-in rally near Atlanta when protesters began, demanding that he shut down all detention centers and abolish the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency. Biden was celebrating his 100th day in office. End detention now, they chanted, while others chanted, abolish ICE. We'll give you a microphone, Biden responded. Reporters at the rally said the protesters also unfurled an orange banner during their interruption. This is where Zeke Miller tweets out, Biden's speech interrupted by protesters shouting, "End detention now and abolish ICE." They were escorted out by staff. Biden then responded that he agreed with their cause after they continued to interrupt. "I agree with you, man. I'm working on it, man. Give me another 5 days. Folks, you all know what they're talking about. There should be no private prisons, period. None, period. They should not exist, and we're working to close all of them." "We voted for you too. Our families are dying," responded one protester. The protesters were escorted out of the car rally, and Biden continued with his speech, most popular president in history. Biden later clarified to reporters that he was teasing the protesters about taking action within 5 days. Oh my God. Oh my God. This dude. Biden has proposed a pathway to citizenship for the millions of illegal aliens in the U.S., but he has faced criticism from the left for the continued deportations and increased detainments at the border since he assumed office. A poll from 2018 showed that Americans are against abolishing ICE by more than 2 to 1. The Rasmussen poll found that 55% of Americans did not want to abolish ICE, while only 25% said they did support the extreme policy. Here's the video of the bizarre interaction. Let's see how much we can get away with on this one.
And most of all, I want to thank you, the people of Georgia. We'll give you a microphone. Folks, Georgia was 100 days ago today when I was inaugurated on the steps of the United States Capitol to be your president. And I was looking forward to coming back and seeing these guys. I agree with you. I'm working on it, man. Give me another 5 days. Folks, y'all know what they're talking about. There should be no private prisons, period. None, period. That's what they're talking about. Private detention centers.
That's
they
not what they're talking
should not
about.
exist. And we are working to close all of them. So, folks, look. Thank you. All right. Thank you. All right. Okay. Let him go. No. I promise you. The only thing that's going to keep me from doing that is you keep moving. I promise you.
What?
Thank you. Folks, look, it's been 100 days since I first sat at my desk in the Oval Office and went to work for you and the American people. I want to thank you.
Most popular president ever. You realize that if this was a Trump rally, and once again, you hate to talk about the guy because he lives rent-free in the media's head, but and this was pointed out to me at numerous points yesterday, including with what we're about to talk about, with the ratings for the State of Dementia speech, that if this was a Trump rally, there would be enough people in there that they would have drowned these people out. And the fact that you can clearly hear these protesters like this tells me that a lot of these cars that were probably in the panned out, and I haven't seen a panned out image of this, but were probably empty. Just keep that in mind. A few people, and you can hear individual voices, were able to stop the president in his tracks. All right, let's keep going. From the Hill. Biden's speech draws 26.9 million viewers, down from Trump. From Thomas Moore. President Biden's first speech to a joint session of Congress drew 26.9 million viewers, according to figures from ratings company Nielsen, released on Thursday. The numbers included viewers watching Biden's speech on ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, Telemundo, Univision, PBS, CNBC, CNN, Fox Business, Fox News, MSNBC, Newsmax, News Nation, and Newsy. The audience Wednesday night was roughly 43.6% drop from the approximately 47.7 million who tuned in to former President Trump's first address to members of the House and Senate in 2017. Also keep in mind, we had 6 viewers on a stream that didn't go to the biggest streaming platform in history because of copyright laws. Biden's speech on Wednesday was delivered to a crowd of roughly 200 people, which was significantly slimmed down in order to implement COVID-19 precautions. Nielsen did not announce how the numbers broke down for individual networks. Deadline had previously reported that ABC had won the ratings battle, followed by MSNBC, NBC, and CBS. Ratings for CNN, MSNBC, and Fox have all declined since Biden took office, as have ratings for the evening news programs of ABC, NBC, and CBS, according to Nielsen ratings. And that's where CNN is going to go, but they've already seen 26.9 million, which I think is a little bit high. I know that Sewell pointed out that... do I have that one? Yeah, I do. No, I don't have that one. But Sewell had pointed out the fact that it looks like right now there were actually only like 11 million viewers to this. But even still, with 26.9, when the Donald brought out 34.8 million on his first State of the Union as the most hated human being on the face of the earth. But don't worry, folks, most popular president ever. Honk, honk. Nothing bad happened in the election in 2020. Honk, wink, wink. All right, from CNN. Biden's first address to Congress wasn't immune to TV ratings erosion. From Brian Stelter, who is younger than I am, by the way, and has no hair on the top of his head. The television ratings for President Joe Biden's first address to a joint session of Congress were far weaker than the equivalent events by past presidents. But the decline probably has more to do with the state of television than the state of the presidency. Keep telling yourself that. Eventually, maybe somebody will believe it. Nielsen estimated that 26.9 million people watched the speech across 16 cable and broadcast networks on Wednesday night. Former President Donald Trump's equivalent address to Congress in 2017 averaged 48 million viewers. And his State of the Union address last year, shortly before the pandemic, averaged 37 million viewers. The pandemic accelerated what has already been evident for years: gradual erosion in live TV audiences in the United States. Simply put, as more people spend more time watching on-demand programming, the public is less inclined to watch live events. Sagging ratings for award shows like the Emmys and the Oscars have underscored the trend, and not the fact that nobody gives a fuck what these dumb, woke fucking actors have to say. Additionally, Nielsen's live TV estimates don't account for all the ways an event like a presidential address is delivered across the internet, not to mention radio and other formats. So the use of a single TV ratings figure as a shorthand for the total reach of a speech is getting less and less accurate over time. Still, the performance of Wednesday's address on live TV may be taken as a reflection of Biden's deliberately low-key presidency, a sharp break from the drama and deceit of the Trump years. Looking back further in time, when internet viewership was not a major factor, about 52 million tuned in on TV for Barack Obama's first address to Congress in 2009, and 40 million for George W. Bush in 2001. During Biden's address on Wednesday night, ABC averaged 4 million viewers, NBC averaged 3.5 million, CBS 3.4 million, and the Fox Broadcast Network 1.6 million. On cable, MSDNC averaged 4 million viewers and CNN netted 3.2 million, which is well above average for both channels. Because nobody gives a fuck about their woke bullshit anymore now that they don't have the panic button of, oh my god, Trump's about to do something. You better click and watch our channel because we'll tell you exactly what the evil orange man's gonna do. It's gonna be evil. Do you see him? Do you see what he's going to do? Oh my god, it's going to be so evil, and we're going to be the first ones to tell you. And then you can go tell your friends, and you can be the first one to tell your friends how evil and racist and evil the evil orange man is. So that's what they're saying is coming down from here. The Daily Wire also weighed in on this one. Ratings for Biden's address to Congress are in, and they're horrendous. From Amanda Prestigiacomo. President Biden's ratings for his first address to a joint session of Congress are stunningly low. The 78-year-old drew a dismal 22.6 million viewers across 7 major networks, according to a report from Deadline citing networks' near final numbers. The outlet emphasized that the low ratings come out to a 47% drop relative to former President Trump's first joint session to Congress. So they're saying 22.6 million, CNN saying 26.9 million, Breaking 911 saying 11 million. The major point to this is nobody has any fucking idea how many people actually watch this. Except a lot of people came out and said they just didn't care. Let's see. The president's speech also fared poorly online. Aside from the general low video views, left-leaning news stations and outlets that streamed the speech like USA Today, NBC News, CBS News, and CNBC News and CNN all had thumbs-down reactions, outnumbering the thumbs-up reactions. You don't say. Hey, my thumbs up outweighed my thumbs down for that stream. Even though it didn't go to YouTube and we didn't have thumbs up and thumbs down. I got lemons and I got viewership. And a lot of commentary, so. Only the major news stations to have approving reactions, outnumbering disapproving reactions, was ABC News, which seems to track with TV ratings too. So, that's what they have to say about that. Alright, most popular president ever. Trust me on this one. Alright, here's the fun one. And I had some fun with this over on Twitter the other day. I'll see if my quote tweet comes to the top after this, but Breaking 911 tweets out, new CBS poll finds that 85% of Americans approved of Biden's speech last night. CBS surveyed 510 Democrats, 169 Republicans, and 235 independents. And I looked at this, and I crunched some numbers in my head, which, with the numbers they've surveyed just under 1,000 people. CBS surveyed 745 Democrats. And I quote tweeted that out. Let's see if mine comes to the top. No, it didn't. That's lame. But yeah, I did that too. I said that. Yeah. CBS didn't survey 510 Democrats, 169 Republicans, and 235 independents. Look at the numbers. What do we got? 510 and 235 is 745 plus. You take another 155, that brings you to 900. And then the 14 left over, after you've taken the 155 out of the 169 Republicans, that brings you to 914. Somebody who has a calculator, quick. Hold on. Oh, I can use my iPod. I still find these numbers sketch as shit. Yeah, no, I don't care. Let's see. 745 over 914 equals 81%. So you're not too far off on that one. No, trust me, CBS did not survey 235 independents. That was 745 Democrats. Honk. Most popular president ever. Honk. All right. From CBS, shifting gears, Pence touts our accomplishments in first remarks since leaving office, from Adam Brewster. In his first speech since leaving office, former Vice President Mike Pence on Thursday night highlighted what he saw as the accomplishments of the Trump administration while laying out what he called a positive agenda for the Republican Party. Pence's public reemergence in an early primary state came as President Biden marked his first 100 days in office and fueled speculation about a 2024 run. In speaking to the Palmetto Family Council in South Carolina, social conservative Christian group, Pence criticized Mr. Biden for what he called an avalanche of liberal policies. He said the president wants to launch an explosion of runaway spending with his COVID relief plan, infrastructure proposal, and the American Families Plan. And the even more liberal policy that I'm sure Mike Pence hates about the most popular president in history, Joe Biden, is the fact that, oh my God, he might be in a room alone with a woman who's not his wife. I've had enough, Pence said. After 100 days, I think the time has come for Americans devoted to faith and family and freedom and limited government to stand up and unite behind a positive agenda and win back America. One electroshock at a time, and starts right here, right now in South Carolina. Pence also praised South Carolina Senator Tim Scott for the positive vision he outlined during his Republican rebuttal to Mr. Biden's address on Wednesday night. Republicans, Pence said, need to unite behind a positive agenda that includes strong national defense, immigration policies that emphasize border security, appointing conservative justices, and upholding all the God-given liberties enshrined in the Constitution. He called election integrity a critical issue and one that should be left to the states, but did not repeat Mr. Trump's false claims that the election was stolen. Okay, I got more votes than anybody in history, okay? Sleepy Joe. He had all the dead people vote for him, but they're not supposed to be voting, okay? But of course, to remind everybody, that's just a quote from Trump, and the election was not stolen and nothing bad happened. And honk honk, President Biden is the most popular president in history. We have the winning agenda. Now it's incumbent upon us to take that winning agenda to the American people, Pence said. So, yeah, he's talking about his accomplishments off of this, which, I mean, as compared to Kamala, you didn't see a lot of Mike. There are times I forgot that he was the vice president. I really did. Because you almost didn't see the guy. I mean, good on him for coming out and, maybe he'll run in 2024. God help us at that point. Because I can't vote for him. I'm sorry. I can't. That is too much authoritarianism in the other direction, as we're coming out from authoritarian from this direction. And I don't know about you guys, but authoritarianism just doesn't jive with me in either direction. I don't know if you see this flag behind me, but you can probably tell that I'm not real big on authoritarianism. All right, let's keep going. I got one from Fox News. Joy Behar decided that she wanted to run her fucking mouth. Joy Behar says Tim Scott doesn't understand the difference between racist country and systemic racism. From Brandon Gillespie. I'm sorry, not Gillespie. Oh, there's video. Co-host of ABC's The View, Joy Behar, suggested on Thursday that Tim Scott doesn't seem to understand the difference between a racist country and systemic racism. Behar, who is white, made the suggestion while railing against Scott, the only black Republican, in the U.S. Senate over his rebuttal to President Biden's Wednesday address to Congress. Oh, this is going to be educational. Are you guys ready? Strap yourselves. I don't care if you're ready at this point, because we got to see this. We got to be educated by how perfect Joy Behar sees the world.
Bipartisanship is an obsession with the Republicans right now, that Biden is not reaching across the aisle, okay? And yet, when he says, Biden, we're on track to cutting child poverty in half, you look around that chamber and nobody on the Republican side is standing or clapping. Does that mean that they are for child poverty? When he says that he wants clean water, and Kevin McCarthy is sitting on his hands and not reacting. Does Kevin McCarthy like dirty water? Maybe he should, campaign on that. Dirty water for everybody. As far as, and then the other thing I have to say is I thought it was brilliant. I thought Biden was incredibly warm and presidential and just great. And to see those two beautiful, intelligent, brilliant women behind him makes me feel like I just felt wonderful. Now, Tim Scott. He does not seem to understand, and a lot of them don't seem to understand, the difference between a racist country and a systemic racism. They don't seem to get the difference. Yes, maybe it's not a racist country. Maybe Americans, the majority, are not racist. But we live in a country with systemic racism. We discussed it this week again already, about housing and about education and all of the things that are important to people. And the fact that Tim Scott cannot acknowledge this is appalling. How can you go out there and say that when you just said 2 minutes ago that you were the object and the victim of discrimination? And then he says that this is not a racist country. At least acknowledge that there is systemic racism. That's what I wanted to hear from him, and he didn't say it.
Well, Joy, I would be careful with those words that you're throwing around because, Sleepy Joe up there, 47 years in Congress, he's the system. Just so you know, he is the system. And he's been in the system for a very, very long time. Come on, man. And the human mattress that's standing at his side, standing behind him, used the system to prosecute a majority of black people for low-level crimes and keep them in prison. Now, I choose not to believe that this is a systemically racist country. I think there are bad apples. There really are. But they're one-offs. They're not the system. They're absolutely not the system. In fact, you watched how quickly the system folded behind one of their own who didn't get a fair trial off of any of this. They looked at this and said, fuck that. We don't want to be involved in this. We're going to throw this asshole under the bus. And they absolutely did throw him under the fucking bus. That's not systemic racism. If there was systemic racism, all those police officers in Minneapolis would be hiding behind the blue wall of silence. There is no systemic racism in this country. You're just a cunt with a bad Jersey accent. All right, let's keep going. From CNN. All right, now we get to go talk about the other side of the world. Al-Qaeda promises war on all fronts against America as Biden pulls out of Afghanistan. From Nick Robertson and Salim Mashoud. This weekend marks the 10th anniversary since Osama bin Laden, the mastermind of the September 11, 2001 attacks on the U.S., was killed by U.S. Special Operations Forces. SEAL Team 6 inside its high-walled compound in the Pakistani military college city of Abbottabad. His name and that of his terrorist network, Al-Qaeda, came to define an era of U.S. reaction and retribution, dwarfing any previous counterterrorism policy. America's war on terror is about to enter a new phase as President Biden prepares to withdraw all U.S. forces from Afghanistan by the 20th anniversary of 9/11, but now Al-Qaeda claims its war with America is far from over. Just a reminder of what Joe Biden is doing, given the fact that he wants to have everybody out by September 11th, which now I don't think is going to happen, given what I just read off of this for half a second ago. The full pullout that came about 2 weeks before we heard the words "commie fucking coof" was supposed to end, be all done by tomorrow. I just want to put that into perspective for you. Now we've got this distant moved goalpost again, but this was all supposed to be done by tomorrow. Under the negotiation that was put forward by the Art of the Deal author, President Donald Trump. That was all supposed to be tomorrow. We're supposed to be out of there. Everybody's done. We're all sitting back here. We're kicking back. We're having a martini. In an exclusive interview with CNN conducted through intermediaries, two al-Qaeda operatives tell CNN that war against the U.S. will be continuing on all fronts unless they're expelled from the rest of the Islamic world. And here it is, right there. There's your reason for us to keep back and go back and stay in the Middle East forever. In the past, Al-Qaeda has rarely responded to questions, choosing instead to hide behind its own self-serving propaganda, much like CNN does, dodging even the most distinct scrutiny, much like CNN does. It's unclear why the group has chosen to do so now. because they're probably getting a kickback from the defense contractors to try and keep everybody back in the region. And they're buying arms from the same defense contractors too, by the way. Terrorism analyst Paul Cruikshank, editor-in-chief of West Point CTC Sentinel, who reviewed al-Qaeda's answers, says it's possible they feel buoyed by the Biden administration's decision to pull out troops from Afghanistan, but they may also be seeking to deflect attention from the many recent losses. So, yeah, they're going to keep spouting off and writing checks their asses can't cash. Let's grab one from Reuters here, which I thought was supposed to be behind a paywall, but I've not run into it yet. I remember, like, right back, what was it, the beginning of March? The New York Times, a former newspaper, came out with the article that said Reuters was going behind a paywall forever, and you couldn't even touch the articles unless you had the paywall, but I'm not paying for Reuters, and they keep giving me free shit. Plus, I have an ad blocker on, too, so they're not even getting ad revenue off of me. Thanks, Reuters. German military wraps up training mission in Afghanistan ahead of withdrawal. The German military in Afghanistan will finish training local forces on Friday and turn its attention to withdrawing from the country as the U.S. and NATO wrap up their mission after almost 2 decades, the Defense Ministry in Berlin said. U.S. President Joe Biden and Western Military Alliance announced in mid-April they will pull out the roughly 10,000 foreign troops still in Afghanistan by September 11th. Germany has the second largest military contingent with about 1,100 troops. Berlin had deployed more than 100,000 soldiers to Afghanistan over the past 2 decades, many of them serving more than one tour in the country. 59 German troops died in Afghanistan, with 35 of them killed in combat, or as a result of military attacks, making it Germany's deadliest military mission since World War II. Wrapping up the operation, Germany will have to redeploy the equivalent of around 800 containers of weapons, such as armored vehicles, helicopters, weapons, and ammunitions. The multinational camp in northern Mazar-e-Sharif, led by Germany, has been reinforced with troops and mortars, ramping up security for the duration of the withdrawal to guard the base against attacks by the Taliban. The Taliban severely curtailed women's and other human rights during their reign in Afghanistan from 96 to 01, when they were ousted by U.S.-led forces. Since then, they have waged a long-running insurgency and now controlled wide swaths of the territory. And that's the other one we're going to hear is, what about the women's rights? Hey, women can drive in Afghanistan now. What's going to happen after we leave? And to be completely frank, I'm sorry, but that's an Afghanistan problem. Afghanistan is one of the most secure locations in the world. Nobody's been able. There have been very, very incredibly few groups in history that have actually been able to mount an offensive against Afghanistan and take it over and rebuild it just because of how shitty the terrain is. Many have tried. Very few have succeeded. It's a losing battle at this point, but, we can continue and keep people in there or forever, or we can actually take some time and do something to get out of this. But I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop, and now we get back and see that, we need to go back in, man. This general over here told me that there's something back. We need troops over there now, man. All right, from Yahoo News. You knew these guys were going to jump into this one. Hillary Clinton and Condoleezza Rice sound alarm over Afghanistan troop withdrawal. This is from Yahoo News via Axios. From Elena Treen. Hillary Clinton and Condoleezza Rice told members of the House Foreign Affairs Committee that they're worried about President Biden's plan to withdraw all U.S. troops from Afghanistan, with Rice suggesting the U.S. may need to go back, Axios has learned. Oh my God. We're going to lose money! Send us back! Send us back! The position puts 2 former secretaries of state from the Obama and Bush administrations at odds with one of Biden's most significant foreign policy moves to date. And it's not even his foreign policy move. He's actually extended it. The new president has vowed to complete the withdrawal by September 11th, the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. U.S. forces were sent to Afghanistan by Rice's then-boss, former President George W. and the W stands for fucking warmonger, Bush. To destroy havens used by the attack's organizers. Warmonger, war fucking pig. Clinton and Rice. You know, that's the thing, too. I know that Sticks likes to say that it's... The daddy is Herbert Walker Bush, and W is, well, just fucking W. George W. Bush. But really, in reality, that's not what their initials stand for. George Bush Sr. is George Huge Warmonger Bush. And then George W. Bush is George Warmonger Bush. That's actually what their middle names are. To destroy havens used by the attack's organizers, Clinton and Rice offered their reactions during a members-only Zoom call Wednesday. Two attendees told Axios. Rice's office did not want to comment on a private briefing. Clinton's spokesperson did not respond to a request for comment. We had Secretaries Clinton and Condi Rice Zoom today with the committee. One committee member told Axios, a little disagreement on Afghanistan, but they both agreed that we're going to need to sustain a counterterrorism mission somehow outside of the country. More weapons. More money. More weapons. More money. The defense contractors are going to make these people rich. They are. And I'm sure that there's going to be a Logan Act violation somewhere where Hillary Clinton is going to go over there and talk to somebody acting as a representative of the U.S. and say, okay, well, I might not be an official representative of the U.S., but we need to stay at war here because otherwise I'm not going to get my kickbacks from Raytheon. So, we'll see what happens there. But you knew those two were going to be involved. All right, let's talk Trump. Certainly, Ron would be considered. Trump votes DeSantis as 2024 vice president. From Quint Forgy over at Politico. Former President Trump said on Thursday that he would certainly consider Florida Governor Ron DeSantis as a potential running mate should he decide to mount a third White House campaign in 2024. He's a friend of mine, okay? I endorsed Ron. Ron let me move in to his state, okay? After I got out of evil, corrupt New York with Andrew Cuomo. He's a terrible guy, Andrew Cuomo. After I got out of there, Ron let me come down and move in to my wonderful Mar-a-Lago estate where I will sit here and live. And then Ron will come over, okay? We'll sit down, we'll have tea, and we'll play golf. And I'll tell him, okay, Ron, I'm going to be in charge because it's all about me. Okay, and what do you think? Okay, Trump DeSantis 2024. Bing, boom, done. Okay. A lot of people like that, you know. I'm just saying what I read and what you read, and they love that ticket. Trump added, the best ticket, the greatest ticket, by me, your favorite president. Okay, but certainly Ron would be considered. He's a great guy. Spokespeople for DeSantis did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Trump's remarks about the Republican governor of his adopted home state, which come as DeSantis has cultivated presidential speculation of his own. The praise for DeSantis also represents the latest public fissure in the once airtight relationship between Trump and the former Vice President Mike Pence. Trump has repeatedly attacked Pence for not doing more to reverse the outcome of the 2020 election, a constitutional authority experts agree the Vice President does not have. And even tweeted criticism of Pence as a pro-Trump rioters stormed the Capitol on January 6th and threatened his life. Whatever. I'm not even going to do the whole January 6th fucking thing anymore. That January 6th. Trump has not yet announced whether he will seek another term in 2024, but said on Thursday that he's 100% considering a campaign. His indecision has temporarily frozen a Republican field of White House hopefuls fearful of moving against the former president, who remains exceedingly popular with GOP voters. Meanwhile, DeSantis' star within the Republican Party has risen in recent weeks, with conservatives praising his aversion to coronavirus-related restrictions and Florida's performance during the pandemic. So, that'll be interesting to see where that goes in the next couple of years. Okay, I am going to be the greatest president, okay? You know, that Grover Cleveland, I'm going to do better than him, okay? I'm going to come in, I'm going to have Ron Ron DeSantis, great guy. I love Ron DeSantis, okay? He's going to come in. He's going to campaign with me. It's going to be the best ticket, okay? Sleepy Joe isn't going to know what hit him, okay? All right. Let's talk about Ghislaine. I got just a few more, then we will do the live chat for you guys, and head on out of here. Ghislaine Maxwell pictured for the first time behind bars with a bruise. From Ben Feuerherd. An attorney for Ghislaine Maxwell on Thursday released the first photograph of the accused madam since she was arrested last summer, showing the former socialite with a wrinkly face and a bruise under her eye. The photo of Maxwell was included in a letter filed in her Manhattan federal criminal case by her attorney, Bobby Sternheim, who wrote that the apparent injury was caused friction between her and the guards in jail, the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Last night she was confronted by MDC staff due to a visible bruise over her left eye, Sternheim wrote in the letter. No guard addressed the bruise until Miss Maxwell, who has no mirror, caught a reflection of her aching eye in the gleam of a nail clipper. At that point, the MDC staff confronted Miss Maxwell regarding the source of the bruising, threatening to place her in the SHU if she did not reveal how she got it, she added, referring to the special housing unit. Sternheim added that the guards at the MDC put inmates in the special housing unit if they've been injured in the jail or subjected to abuse by other inmates. But Maxwell's attorney believes she got the bruise because she's forced to cover her eyes with a sock or towel every night because the guards shine lights in her cell every 15 minutes. It's no surprise she may have been unintentionally injured trying to keep the light out of her eyes at night, attorney David Marks said. Yeah, this woman, well, at least she's still alive because we haven't heard about her for quite a while, and, you know what Jeffrey Epstein didn't do. We don't have to come back and tell you about that. She may have been in the stage of half asleep while being tortured with shining lights. Please keep in mind, it's been 10 months of bad sleep, inedible food, and undrinkable water in solitary confinement for absolutely no reason. How would you look? Marcus added. So, and there's the bruise right there. You can see it. Dude, she doesn't even look like the same person between those two pictures. That's crazy. All right, let's keep going. From CNN, the Daily Beast. Gates associate wrote in a letter that Congressman paid for sex with a minor. From Paul LeBlanc. Okay, well, file a grand jury indictment or impeach him if you've got it. If you've got it, fucking impeach him already and be done with it. Because he clearly did this while he was in office, if this has actually happened. But the fact that we haven't moved into an impeachment investigation tells me that there's some bullshit going on here. From Paul LeBlanc. Joel Greenberg, a central figure in the ongoing investigation into Florida Republican Representative Matt Gaetz, wrote in a letter obtained by the Daily Beast that he and Gaetz paid for sex with multiple women, including a minor who was 17 at the time. The letter was drafted after Greenberg asked Roger Stone, a close ally of former President Trump, for help obtaining a pardon during the final months of Trump's term. The outlet reported, on more than one occasion, this individual was involved in sexual activities with several of the other girls, the congressman from Florida's 1st Congressional District, and myself, Greenberg wrote in the letter in reference to the minor, according to the Daily Beast. From time to time, gas money or gifts, rent, or partial tuition payments were made to several of these girls, including the individual who was not yet 18. I did see the acts occur firsthand, and Venmo transactions, Cash App, or other payments were made to these girls on behalf of the congressman. Well, if this is true, then that's going to be easy because they did it by electronic, by wire payment. Which, if you're boffing someone illegally, as a congressman, is incredibly stupid. And if he actually did that, then he deserves to be pulled out of Congress because that's actually really fucking stupid. So yank his fucking ass out of there. But once again, I mean, if this is actually there, if the transactions are actually there, this is a slam dunk case. We're done. And we can start moving on this. But Given the fact that it's been 2 months, I suspect that there's little to nothing going on here except for a smear campaign, especially considering that this popped up right after they tried to expel Marjorie Taylor Greene. I have a lot of tinfoil around this one here. They go through one by one to try and expel various members of Congress, one by one. And they all have the same thing. They all have that stupid fucking red elephant standing behind them. So, and I will keep an open mind about this. If he did it, then get his ass out of there because he doesn't need to be there. But you are going to have to bring me enough evidence to show that he actually did it. If not, sit down, shut up, and move on and wait till 2022. Because, just like everybody else in the House, he is up for re-election in 2022. But all I see here is a goddamn smear campaign, and a disgusting one at that. From KGW8, NBC out of Portland, Oregon. Governor Brown extends state of emergency for COVID until late June. Over the past 2 weeks, coronavirus cases in Oregon have jumped by more than 50%, the fastest increase in COVID-19 cases in the country. From KGW staff, Governor Kate Brown on Thursday extended Oregon's state of emergency declaration for another 60 days. It will continue until June 28th. The declaration legally authorizes Brown's COVID-19 executive orders and the Oregon Health Authority's health and safety guides extending the declaration that allows these orders to remain in effect. Yeah, keep grinding that fucking heel down. Do it and see what happens to your population when they get sick of this fucking bullshit. Brown and OHA officials have said Oregon is in the midst of the fourth surge of COVID. Oh, the fourth surge, you say? This week, Brown announced that 15 Oregon counties will move back to the extreme COVID-19 risk level on Friday. I have power, and I will not let it go. Unlimited power! There have been 182,916 known cases of COVID-19 in Oregon, and the state's COVID death toll is over 2,490 over the past 2 weeks. Oregon's coronavirus cases have jumped by more than 50%, the fastest increase in COVID-19 cases in the country. Well, you can fill any narrative you want to try and make sure that you have unlimited power, so keep that in mind as we go. So they are under lockdown forever. I'm so glad that Tony Evers got his fucking dick spanked. And the Supreme Court finally came out and said no more. And yes, you are still free to lock down, work from home, if you can, and if you want to, or seek a job that will allow you to do so. But you don't get to impose your will on the rest of us at this point. I will advocate for more remote work. In fact, right at the beginning of the Comic Coup, that's the first thing that I said is, can we do this more? There are people, a lot of people, that do clerical work that don't need to go set foot in an office for almost any reason. They can work from home, they can telecommute in, they can start, and, this goes along with the other thing too. That's, City Flight. That's going to be a big thing off of this as well. Because you don't need to work in the central New York hub and pay central New York taxes anymore. If you want to go work for the central Wells Fargo Bank, or actually, I don't think Wells Fargo is centered in New York, but like the central BMO Harris or whatever the fuck it is, something in New York. You don't have to sit and deal with their New York bullshit. If you want to work for this bank. Now, if you want to be a teller, yeah, you're going to have to be there in person. But for the most part, the vast majority of people, clerical, office work, data entry, shit like that, you can work from home. And I'd like to see more of that. I really do. But for the rest of us, we want to be out. We don't want to sit under emergency orders that don't even have legislation behind them. We don't want to see these governors with unlimited power taking over people's lives. All right, from the Blaze. White farmers sue feds over being banned from government programs solely due to their race. From Breck Dumas. Yeah, equal protection under the law. That's kind of shitty. A group of white Midwestern farmers has filed a lawsuit against the Biden admin for racial discrimination over being banned from a loan forgiveness program offered only to farmers of color due to the fact that they're ineligible solely due to their race. The Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty is representing the plaintiffs from Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Ohio in their suit against the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Thomas Vilsack and Farm Service Agency Administrator Zach Duckenow, I think is how we're going to pronounce that. Their complaint argues that the loan program is part of America's Rescue Plan of Act of 2021 for socially disadvantaged farmers is unconstitutional because it is race-based. Absolutely, the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel noted that the program pays up to 120% of direct or guaranteed farm loan balances for producers who are Black, American, Indian, and Alaskan Native, Hispanic or Latino, and Asian American or Pacific Islander, but white producers do not qualify. Were plaintiffs eligible for the loan forgiveness benefit, they would have the opportunity to make additional investments in their property, expand their farms, purchase equipment and supplies, and otherwise support their families and local communities, the lawsuit reads. Because plaintiffs are ineligible to even apply for the program, solely due to their race, they have been denied that equal protection of the law and therefore suffered harm. The USDA explains on its website the reasoning behind the race-based program, stating, USDA recognizes that socially disadvantaged farmers and ranchers have faced systemic discrimination with cumulative effects that have, among other consequences, led to a substantial loss in the number of socially disadvantaged producers, reduced... Okay, beep beep, back up the fucking bus for just a second here. Why is socially disadvantaged being used as a substitute for skin color? Because I'm sorry, that seems kind of fucking racist. Tell me if I'm wrong, but that seems kind of fucking racist. Reduced the amount of farmland they control and contributed to a cycle of debt that was exacerbated during the COVID-19 pandemic. During the pandemic, socially disadvantaged communities saw a disproportionate amount of COVID-19 infection rates, loss of property, hospitalizations, death, and economic hurt. One of the plaintiffs in the suit is Adam Faust, a dairy farmer and double amputee. He told the Journal Sentinel there should be absolutely no federal dollars going anywhere just based on race. The economic impact from COVID-19 didn't hurt any race more than another as far as agriculture goes. The AP noted that minority farmers have maintained for decades that they have been unfairly denied farm loans and other government assistance, adding that the USDA in 1999 and 2010 settled lawsuits from black farmers, accusing the agency of discriminating against them. Well, here's the problem with this, and that is the fact that discrimination does not get solved by more discrimination in the opposite direction. It doesn't. In fact, it just makes everything worse, and it makes it harder for people to produce food. I don't care about the skin color of who is producing my food. I just care that that person is the best person that there is at producing food. I care that that person can reliably, year after year, produce a yield of corn and hay and meat and dairy products year after year to make sure that myself and my future family do not starve. I could not care less about the skin color of the farmer that's bringing the pigs over to make my bacon. All I care about is that he's really good at raising fucking pigs. That's all I care about. Legitimately. But that happened. Alright, I have two more here. One on the Arizona election and one that I just found completely fucking stupid, but funny all the same. From KTAR News, Hobbs, Maricopa County election audit sets dangerous precedent for our country. From KTAR.com. No author given. The Arizona Senate's audit of the 2020 election results in Maricopa County won't change the Democratic President Joe Biden's victory in the state. But Arizona's top election officials said what it does do is set a dangerous precedent for the country. Okay, I'm listening. The real problem, and what I think we all should be concerned about in terms of election integrity, is that these are a group of people using their power to continue to perpetuate the big lie and undermine Arizonans' confidence in our very, very, very good election system. Democratic Secretary of State Katie Hobbs told KTAR News 92.3 FM's Gatos and Chad on Money. So, this, actually going through and double checking everything, undermines Americans' sense of security in the election, but spending 4 years screaming, "The Russians! The Russians are coming! The Russians! Oh my God, the Russians are coming! The Russians are coming!" That instills so much confidence in our election system. Can't you see how fucking stupid this sounds? We've had the most secure election with historic participation in Arizona and across the country than we've ever seen, and we should be celebrating that and building on that. Yep, most popular president in history got leaps and bounds of votes over former President Barack Obama. Greatest president, most popular president. Everybody loves the guy, and that's why he has such great television ratings for every speech that he gives and every appearance that he makes. Most popular and amazing and godlike president in history. Honk, wink, wink. Conspiracy theories about the election have proliferated in Arizona and nationwide since Biden's victory over former President Donald Trump. Biden won Arizona last year by 10,457 votes and won Maricopa County by 45,109 votes. This is a group of people who really is like the squeaky wheel that got the grease, Hobbs said. They whined hard enough and they're getting something. After repeated reviews of the election results in Maricopa County found no issues that would overturn Biden's narrow victory in Arizona, a judge ruled that the Senate could access Maricopa County's 2.1 million ballots for a hand recount. This is setting a dangerous precedent for the country and dangerously continuing to undermine voters' confidence in the system, Hobbs said. So, well, we'll see what happens. This is probably going to take a couple weeks, so we'll see where it goes. All right, last one, and then we will do live chat for the day. So remember, if you're just lurking now, get those last minute messages in, and if it is sufficiently bigoted and racist and or just sufficiently stupid, it'll get read on the air because, you know, after all the stuff that we've just done for the last hour and 20 minutes, we got to raise the intellectual level of this program just a little bit. From Insider. This gold-plated Nintendo Wii made for Queen Elizabeth II is selling on eBay with a $300,000 asking price. From Anna Kuban. There it is. A 24-karat gold Nintendo Wii made for Queen Elizabeth II. A gold-plated Nintendo Wii games console custom-made for Queen Elizabeth II has gone on sale on eBay for a $300,000 asking price. THQ Toy Headquarters, a video game publisher that collapsed in 2013, made the 24-karat gold-plated console in 2009 and sent it to the Queen as a marketing stunt, the seller, Donnie Fillerup, told CNN. But the Queen staff rejected the gift and sent it back, Fillerup said. THQ folded in 2013 and a private buyer acquired their stock, which included the special edition Wii. Fillerup, who collects consoles, bought the special edition Wii in 2017. He would not reveal how much he paid when asked by CNN. He said the console was valued at $1 million by experts, but he was happy with the lower price. Fillerup hopes to buy an apartment with the money from the sale. I want to be reasonable with the buying a place for myself, and 300,000 or 250,000 euros apparently is the price that I came up with. I don't need more, Fillerup said in an interview on his site Console Variations. Also, this gives more people the opportunity to buy it. Fillerup said in the eBay listing that the console was in working condition. He told Insider he would provide authentication to any buyer, including the console's serial number, documentation from a previous owner, and signatures from experts before they complete the purchase. I hope the system goes to a good home, hopefully a museum, or someone will take care of it as much as I did, Fillerup said in the interview with CNN. Well, I'm priced out of it. I mean, it's a cool idea, but, just, it's over the top. It's a stunt at this point. But there it is. Special edition for Queen Elizabeth II, who said, "Oh no, dearie, fuck that. I don't want this shit. Get this dumb fucking thing out of here, you cunt." Alright. And that is going to be it for the news of the day. But the last thing that we do, of course, is we're going to read the live chat for you guys. So, let's throw some music up just for the hell of it. I think that'll be fun. Maybe. A little bit of music to read us out of here. But now it's time to read the live chat of the day. So let's get the live chat over here so you guys can see your last minute messages coming in here while I go through the week. Alright, on Monday we had Quest Fanning. Nephilim Ninja of Nibiru was here. Ron Helton was here. Chilaga 1984 came by and hung out with us. Spartan 0000 Superior 1 was here. Mark was here. 80s Kid was here, who seems to be a new fan, and I very much appreciate that. Thanks for coming over from Stickers channel. RV was here. Random Randy showed up for a little bit on Monday, and we had a chat bot in here by the name of NM123 Tom FKS. Do we want to become famous? We could buy primes and followers. BigFollows.com. On Tuesday, we had Quest Fanning. Sully was here. Thanks for coming back, Sully. I see you in here too. Nephilim Ninja of Nibiru. Chilaga 1984. Ron Helton was here. MK Ultra Bear showed up. And Arbolt 24 on Wednesday. Wednesday was a busy day. We had Ron Helton, Chilaga 1984, Nephilim Ninja of Nibiru, 80s Kid. Quest Fanning was here. Random Randy came in and chatted with the live chat. Sully Blue was here. Mad Cow Mark, thanks for coming in and hanging out with us. Mad Cow Mark from the other side of the world. Silent Caster weighed in his 2 cents. And Salient Samurais rounded out our Wednesday. Okay. I can do something about that. We can draw that one back just a little bit. Sorry about that. I know the volume is a little bit different in my headphones than it is for you, so yeah, we can deal with that. Thank you, Ron. On Thursday, we had Sully Blue, Quest Fanning, Chilaga 1984, Linda Cloud popped up last minute message in. Nephilim Ninja of Nibiru was here, Silent Caster. The guy in the back of the room showed up for one message, and XH Deadpool 58 was here yesterday. What do we have today, you guys? Lots of stuff. Lots of good stuff. Plus the robot. Which, if you guys want to hit any of those links and throw me a little bit, just for if you guys think I do a good job. I've got the happy birthday messages, the obligatory happy birthday messages, which thank you once again for that. I wasn't going to make a big deal out of it, but, I never do either, and I've been so depressed for most of my life. Now that I'm ready to, embrace some of this as well, especially after the outstanding performance that we had for the charity stream. All right, so we have Quest Fanning. We have Random Randy is here. Random Randy says, I hate that people get paid to write terrible articles when I put more effort into a letter to the editor than the journalist working for them. Yeah, that's called market capitalism and market cronyism. Let's see. Chilaga 1984 is here. Ron Helton is here with the AOC sticker. Random Randy says, I call it the Chinese virus because it came from China. Okay, China. They're the worst. Xi Jinping. Okay, I'm going to make him answer for what he had to do and for bringing the terrible virus over here. Okay, it's the worst virus. Xi Jinping, he's the worst. He looks like Winnie the Pooh. Sully Blue is here. Good morning, all. Random Randy said, when someone's think of big oil. Let's see. Quest Banning says, remember that Biden asked for masks for just another 100 days. Hit his first 100, so guess they come off tomorrow. Bitch, mine's already been off. It's the private business thing. Is the only reason I even still have the goddamn thing. And it's right here, too. Because I love irony. You guys know what's on there. Unfold that, bitch. Because I love irony. But yeah, I mean, I actively go to places that don't have the mandate anymore. As much as I can, but there are some places that I do need to go and do business where I need it. But there it is. Random Randy says, so they got a bunch of gas-guzzling cars together. But my climate change, how dare he not be inclusive to those without cars? I'm pretty sure the protesters were the ones without cars. Sully Blue says, the only thing I want crammed down my throat are tacos. Here, here. I'm actually having a pizza tonight, so. But tacos do sound good, too. I'm kind of slowly getting myself off the keto thing. Just because I plateaued, and I'm going to be going to Noom, I think. Is going to be the next one. Because I've heard a lot of good stuff about that, but, you know, just getting myself used to eating carbs. And, I mean, I'm still probably going to live a low-carb lifestyle. Just not as strictly as I was before, because I think I might have an intolerance to something in white bread, to be completely honest. But, yeah, I'm having a pizza tonight for my birthday as a celebration. But tacos, I would take tacos too. Sully, I got to get back down by you guys and see what you guys have for tacos down in Florida, because we didn't look for much of that while I was down there. Take some time and see the local tacos. Cuban tacos, that sounds like that'd be a thing. Maybe I'm being racist by saying that, but that sounds like that'd be a thing. And there are a lot of Cuban people in Florida. Random Randy says, my Biden sounds a little bit more Clinton-y. No, man, I got Clinton over here, too. Well, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Quest Fanning says, I'm super secretary, taking a 3-day weekend. I'm off to the pool. See you soon. Well, thanks for stopping by, Quest Fanning. Let's see. Chilagas has Ibeeb crushing it, Sully. Random Randy says, my dad once said robbing a bank while the president is in town would be a genius. There were 4 banks robbed the next time the president came. I hear nothing, I see nothing. Chilaga says Randy's dad had a big Twitter following. Ron Held says Idiocracy is here. Random Randy says, if we're rich, I sure didn't see any of it. You will. Didn't he literally say he doesn't work for the people to that union worker with that gun clip? Yeah, I remember that. And I believe you are correct. Chilaga says, Stelter is younger than us. Great person to take health advice from. Yeah, I think he was born in 85, and I was born in 84, so. Sully likes my Hong Kong. He's the most popular president in history. Honk, wink, wink, honk, Hong Kong. I stole that from Styx, I'm not going to lie. But it works. You guys know the message I'm getting across. No defense. Ron Helton says joy because Biden is spouting demented BS. Random Randy says he likes heavy water and black water. Ron says the woman who wore blackface. Shut the fuck up, Joy. Nephilim Ninja is here. He says, I forgot about that, Ron. Yep. And he is the racist. Random Randy says redlining wasn't racist in any way, and Biden fought to keep the schools segregated. Good thing Joy can explain the black experience to the black man. And then he also says there's systemic racism against white people and Asians, depending on which way the wind blows. Chilaga says, wild to think back to how asleep I was 10 years ago, celebrating them killing Bin Laden like an ignorant dolt. Neff says, if they're going to talk like that, we'll stay longer. Yeah, that's part of the problem, actually, is that we're probably going to wind up staying longer. Yeah, Random Randy pointed out, too. A hard deadline, some group would resume action against us to cancel those plans. Yep, absolutely. Neff says Ron should come out and say he's considering Trump as VP. The only Ron that I want to see for president is Ron Helton. Ron Helton for president, 2024. Let's make this happen. Helton for prez. Come on, guys. When I get to the bottom of this scrolling here, when I get to the bottom of reading your chats, I want to see a bunch of Helton for presidents. Come on, guys. Make it happen. Hashtag Helton 2024. Ron says, Trump is not as popular as they think. Sully says, I mean, it's not a terrible ticket in my opinion. Helton says, he really shot his chances in the foot of being reelected. Then he got the left so mad that they stole the election. Yeah. Ron says, most women look different with their war paint off. Random Randy says this is a terrible defense, but even the claim is that the girl was of age in the state that they were in. But if they were paying them, that's still prostitution and still illegal. Ever seen pictures of the Black Eye Club? I have not. Chilaka says a high schooler in Oregon passed out while running an 800-meter race in a mask last week. Well, that's called natural selection. Randy says, I remember Adam Schiff saying for months he's seen the hard evidence of collusion, even after it was officially not a thing. Oh, it's out there. The evidence is out there. The lockdowns will continue until the virus is dead or the people die. They don't care. The lockdowns will continue until morale improves. Sully Blue, I am the Senate. Random Randy says they're so anti-science, all the agencies say lockdowns don't work. Random Randy says big ag and regulations is the only thing that causing small farmers to succeed. Neff says slam dunk lawsuit. They made the white farmers socially discriminated against. Random Randy says that must be why they say there's systemic racism. They're accounting for all the anti-white legislation. Randy says Crowder may be a shill, but he posted over 20 definitive illegal votes that were made, confirmed in person just in Arizona. Yeah, I saw that, and then he got taken down off YouTube. Randy's, yes, it's Accountability Friday too, Chilaga. Randy says it would take less than an hour to disprove the claims of a truckload of ballots being shipped from New York to Pennsylvania, but instead they just threw it out. Plus the Sharpie issue in Arizona. Gold plating a Wii wouldn't be expensive. If it's solid gold, then okay, but it's still a one-off, so you're never going to see another one like that. Randy says Normies thinks that all these cases were looked into and decided to be nothing. I think it was actually 0 claims that were investigated. Yep. Sully would play the hell out of Wii Sports on the gold-plated Wii. Yep, music's overriding my voice. I hope I fixed that. It wasn't a bad thing, Ron. Okay, Nev. Chilaga says, I tested at 18 years old on Wii Sports the other day. So proud. I've never played Wii Sports. I've barely played the Wii. Ron says, I wish you a happy birthday for today. Oh yeah, yesterday. I saw that. Yep, it is. The obligatory happy birthdays. Thank you, guys. Nephilim says, lots of us have leaky gut from breads. Hydrolyzed collagen will help. I can look at that. I just started taking a collagen supplement last month. And it seems to be doing well for me. I mean, especially having been on keto, my vitamin C levels were way down. And the particular supplement I use also has a vitamin C supplement. So, yeah, I understand keto. Random Randy says, hashtag Helton 2024. Yes. Chilaga, Ron H, no more bullshit. Neff says, Helton/Edgar 2024. I couldn't think of somebody else I would rather run under. Sully says, I could get behind Helton for president. And that's going to be it for the day. So let's change up the track, shall we, and head on out of here. All right, so that's going to be it for the week. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me throughout this week here and wishing me off well on my birthday here. So we will not be doing a weekend stream, but I might throw a solo video just because it's something that Razorfist did. I kind of want to take it a little bit further than where he went on that, so I will plan to do that. But they tell me I'm supposed to do something fun over the weekend, but I work so much, I guess I don't know what something fun is. So look forward to that. We'll see. And I keep promising solo videos, and I never do them. But look forward to that and see if we can find something to go with off of that. So come back and check that out. Otherwise, we'll be back here on Monday for more Contemporary on Monday night for the Red Ned Show. Come back and hang out with us for that. And if you guys are fans of Elaine, we will be back on Elaine's Facebook page coming up on Monday night as well. Her suspension is over, so we'll have a new audience. You guys come back and welcome them in and make sure that they know that they can come and hang out with us on Contemporary in the morning too. Make them feel welcome for that as well. So I'm pretty sure the next time I see you guys is going to be on Monday, so definitely looking forward to that. We'll be back here. Otherwise, have a good weekend, and we'll see you then. Until then, I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary.